Hello guys, what is going on? I'm Nosdon. Welcome back to another episode of Comic Reviews. This week is a day late just because I couldn't get my hands on the Flash 54 of all comics. I thought that would be one of the easiest comics to get my hands on this week. I mean, to be fair, they're all kind of like big blockbusters. Just so you know, I'm not reviewing Superman this week just because I don't want to read it right now. I've tried to get into Superman so many times. I just don't think I'm a Superman fan, to be honest. I did enjoy the first issue, but I'm just not really much of a fan. I will keep buying them though, and then maybe after a few issues, I'll read them all at once and see what happens. But right now, just reading them as they come out, like monthly, I'm pretty sure it's monthly right now. I just don't have any interest whatsoever in the character, the plot, or anything. But yeah, this week we're going to be doing The Flash 54, Spider-Man 5, Infinity Wars 3, and Fantastic Four 2. So if you want to go to any of those specific reviews rather than watching it all in one go, then you can go into the description and click on one of the timestamps. But yeah, let's just get into it with The Flash 54. This arc is taking way too long. It's not the arc for the plot, because there's two different arcs going on right now. Because like there's a big like different forces arc right now where we're learning through all the forces, and I call them arcs because we learn about them and then these sort of change. Well, our perspective of them changes anyway, so that's why I'm calling it an arc rather than just like a plot point or story. But not the plot arc, but the character arc that's going on. Because like I said, I love the forces and how they work, but the character arc for Barry right now is just taking way too long. I'm sick of him wanting to change the way he is or the way the world is around him. I'm sick of him wanting to change it in one issue and then not wanting to change it in the next issue. That'll be fine to show conflict in the character, but it's just annoying when it's going on for like 10 plus chapters, and it's been sprinkled here and there throughout Flash for like 50 issues now, probably a bit less than that, because the start of this new run was kind of solely focused on plot rather than character. It's only really actually since Grodd, the recent Grodd arc, where it's been solely focused on Barry and his ability to change, and because it's not happening at all, it's really frustrating and it's not fun at all to read. This was ironically called upon in this issue so frequently that audibly, I'm trying to think of the past tense for that. Audibly, whatever, laughed at some of the dialogue. Like, it was actually that cringy just hearing him like, no, everything needs to go back to normal. When the issue before it's like, oh, maybe I need to change. It's like, no, everything needs to stay the same. You know what I mean? It's just, and when he's preaching that, but at the same time, he managed to be able to diffuse the situation with Trickster by learning new stuff about the forces. So it just doesn't make sense, and is a really frustrating character. Overall, I'm just very unhappy with what's going on at the moment. Not necessarily the issue, but just the story in general. Hopefully it fixes itself soon. Or just sort of, I'd rather it go unresolved. I'd rather the change, like Barry not changing and stuff like that, go unresolved than him actually change at this point, because I just don't want to hear about it anymore. I don't want to hear this character plot point anymore. Moving on. Spider-Man issue 5, the reunion with Spider-Man and Peter Parker was a bit quick and kind of like really easy. But they did set up the Spider-Man character, like the Spider-Man character without Peter Parker, to be just sort of like really lackadaisical, not really giving a shit about stuff. So it kind of made sense for it to be like an easy trap. I just wish it was something like a bit more elegant. But then again, Peter Parker by himself didn't really have any of the smarts. He might have had some of the logic, but he didn't have any of the knowledge that like the other Spider-Man retained. So it kind of, it makes sense that the plan wasn't super intelligent and super clever and stuff like that. But I just wanted a bit more, to be honest. I'd rather the story been less logical and more exciting, but that's just me. MJ was an absolute savage to Pete. Oh my god. I kind of saw it coming, but when she said, like, oh, I want you to be a hero and fight people as well. Like, you're not enough by yourself. I'm like, oh my god. I knew it was coming. I absolutely knew it was coming. As soon as I saw them having that conversation, I'm like, this is what's going to happen. Um, like I said, I saw it was coming, but I just didn't know what to believe when I saw it, when, like, it was actually said. I'm like, how can you be so mean to Peter? It's like, oh, like, stop being nice, be like a rebel or whatever, that type of thing. Um, it was the first time in history at the end of this issue that I've ever been excited to see Craven. I've only seen him a few times, but I've never cared. But now I do. It's just because we haven't had like a proper popular Spider-Man villain since the first issue, and that obviously being Mysterio. We haven't really had a villain at the forefront of the story because it's been focused on like internal conflict and learning about power and responsibility, the general Spider-Man stuff, and you kind of have to deal with that with the first few issues. And this is a 5-part story, so we've had our fun now with this, and I want to get on some cool Spider-Man rogues. And the first one we get is Craven, kind of like a good starter one. I mean, I thought Mysterio was a great starter, but he only lasted one issue. It was mainly to set everyone, including Craven, is meant to be set up and building blocks for this villain that we've been seeing here and there. We got to see his face properly. I don't think we got to see him in issue 1. We might have been able to see his face, but this is when we get like a full frontal, full 1-page look at his face. And I'm honestly not too excited about the villain right now. I was kind of annoyed that he took up all the spotlight in this one. I thought we could have got some more cool stuff with Strom, maybe a bit more character with Strom and stuff like that. But I said last review of Spider-Man that I hope they don't just use Strom and then just chuck him to the side. But that's exactly what happened. I kind of knew it was going to happen, to be honest. We can't really do too much with it. Oh well. Moving on. Infinity Wars 3. If you can explain to me the motive behind Gamora's actions, then please comment below. But I'll give it a go. I'm not completely clueless. I've just got a bit of a theory about what's going on because the story's moving so quickly, and it has to. Obviously, she's got the Infinity Stones. The universe is moving against her, and she's constantly fighting off like not Celestials. The personifications of like the different parts of the universe trying to converge on her and stuff like that. I'm assuming because they don't have souls or anything like that, they're not the ones trapped inside the Soul Stone, and they can actually affect what's going on and stuff like that. It's just like the kind of story that always happens with the Infinity Stones. Like as soon as you get them all together, the universe moves against you to try and stop you. It's kind of like that constant balance, which is another thing that's always preached in like Infinity Stone stories. But I'm gonna give it a go. So her other half is trapped inside the Soul Stones. We know that from Infinity Countdown. Her other half of her soul is trapped inside the Soul World, and it won't be let go until the Soul World is fulfilled. The heart of the Soul World is like sort of filled and full and stuff like that. Sort of like treating the souls as like food. So what she is she's filling up the Soul Stone until she can retrieve her other half, and then she'll quickly return them back to reality. Will quickly return reality back to normal anyway, or at least attempt to, because I assume that this might be like a soft reboot for the universe, even though that it doesn't work time-wise, because a lot of stuff was already rebooted. But then again, this could have been set before what has happened with a lot of the other stuff, because it's definitely set before some of the stuff that started recently, like Thanos Legacy, which is incredible. Make sure to go read that, by the way. Okay, it's got some cool Infinity Wars stuff in there as well. So yeah, that was just like my sort of mini theory. But then again, that doesn't really work because it doesn't answer anyway why she decided to mesh everyone together in half. Like, if she wanted to fill the soul world, surely she would have let the souls stay separate. I'm not sure. I can't think of any line or piece of dialogue that would have led me to understand her motive behind that particular choice. So if you've got any ideas, then make sure to comment down below. Even if I don't even if I don't understand why she's done this. I am enjoying the prospects of what is to come immensely, and I can't wait for the next issue. Just seeing all these different people, personalities, and powers coming together is really cool. I'm excited to see what happens next, even if I don't understand why it's happening. I love the callback to the Infinity Gauntlet story as well, with Mephisto and stuff like that. I did enjoy just that little tidbit of callback. Moving on to Fantastic Four issue 2. This issue was a great showcase of people's powers and personalities. For someone like me who doesn't usually read the Fantastic Four, it was a great second issue. That might have been better as a first issue. I thought maybe they could have spliced the first issue together with this one, because we didn't need so much stuff going on with Johnny and Ben. Like, I felt like that issue was a tiny bit boring. And I really love this issue. So much stuff going on, so many different powers, so many different characters. You know, I enjoyed learning about them, and so I thought maybe this could have been at least somewhat in the first issue, because we didn't get much of Reed or Susan in the first issue. So actually, you know, getting to see them was really good. And maybe if I don't know, maybe if I was a bit strapped for cash or whatever, I would not have picked up issue 2 just because issue 1 didn't catch me, or grab me, should I say. And that is a bit of a frightening prospect to think about, just in terms of other people not picking up issue 2 because they didn't really like issue 1 when issue 2 was so good. So I'm just kind of annoyed about that, to be honest, just the way like the pacing was. But then again, if you're really interested in something, you give it a couple of issues. So, you know, that's I guess that's on the reader as well. Entropy is an interesting villain in terms of power, but I don't really enjoy the lack of personality and sort of omnipotence about her. It's kind of the same way with any villain, really, with too much power, like this general villain that's like super insane power level. Usually what's bad about them, especially if it's like a solo hero title, for example, like Superman or whatever, is that it's the same thing with the hero as well. The hero has too much power, and there's not enough room for anything else. There's not enough room for personality or conflict or whatever, or weaknesses, really. It's kind of the same thing with Captain Marvel, to be honest. Captain Marvel is a cool character. I do enjoy her, and I thought her relationship with Rhodey really sort of like humanized her a bit more. So, you know, I just don't really like villains with super insane amount of power. Like, the only villains that I like who are like that are sort of Thanos, really. I can't think of any others. Maybe Mephisto, but that's kind of it. Surprisingly, it was a good issue, and I'm excited for the next one. I said surprisingly just because I wasn't too big of a fan of issue 1. I thought it was okay at best, and that was only because I was sort of holding out hope for the future when I said that. But yeah, so that is it for all the comics. I would just like to point down in the description below. You can check out my Patreon, in which I'm an author as well, if you didn't know, and you can go on there and you can read the first chapter of the book I'm writing. Chapter 2 should be out at some point, hopefully soon. It should have been out a bit earlier, but if you subscribe to my channel, I do writing vlogs, and the next writing vlog will probably be uploaded at the same time as chapter 2 is uploaded. So, you know, you'll get to know when that's out as well. And also, writing vlogs are pretty interesting. If you want more information about the book or about the Patreon, something like or stuff like that, the Patreon video is on the Patreon page, so you can go and watch the video and understand that a bit more. Also, I'm a affiliate for a website called Creative Attribute, who make from the ground up free comics. So if you want to go over there and read free comics, you can do. And if you decide to subscribe, where you get added benefits, it's like a monthly service, then you can help me out by using my code at checkout, which I'm pretty sure you get 20% off. So yeah, I think that's it for this video. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and all that stuff. I've been done. Hopefully, I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye.